Tens of thousands of men, women and children have amassed at the Mexico side of the U.S. border as changes to migration rules have led to a chaotic humanitarian situation. Hopeful migrants tried to scramble across the border late on Thursday despite a large security presence on the frontier. The standoff comes as regulations which allowed U.S. authorities to immediately return migrants to Mexico expire. The Biden administration says they will be replaced by rules which require migrants to apply for asylum before entering the U.S. DW's Carolina Chimoy has been following the story for us from El Paso, Texas. This is on the U.S.-Mexico border. I asked her what she was seeing in the hours after that pandemic regulations were lifted.
Exactly. Well, the Title 42 has been lifted and the flow of migrants is continuing, but it's no different than in the past 2 weeks. That is what has been happening here during the past 2 weeks. Indeed, it has increased. We were talking about roughly 7,000 migrants per day 2 weeks ago, and then around 10,000 migrants per day. The day of yesterday, there were apprehensions again at the border, and the border police said that they had around 20,000 migrants crossing from Mexico over to the United States. And this flow will probably continue during the next days and next weeks. But it is not like all roughly 150,000 migrants on the Mexican side, on that side, have been waiting until midnight in order to cross over to the U.S. It is something that will continue during the next days and the next weeks.
Carolina, so we know that people have amassed on the Mexico side in their thousands, hoping to cross over. We have a soundbite by a U.S. official that I'd like to play for our viewers, and then I'd like for you to just expand on why people have thought that they could actually cross over. Let's first listen to that U.S. official.
I want to be very clear. Our borders are not open. People who cross our border unlawfully and without a legal basis to remain will be promptly processed and removed. An individual who is removed under Title VIII is subject to at least a 5-year ban on re-entry into the United States and can face criminal prosecution if they attempt to cross again.
So there we have it, Carolina. It seems to be that people on the ground have a different understanding of the situation. They seem to be under the impression that the border is open.
Yes, and there are a lot of reasons for that. One of the reasons is, of course, misinformation. You see, people usually pay smugglers, and this is a business for smugglers, to bring them over, and they're interested in their money. So this is why Secretary Mayorkas was telling them, don't give out your money, don't give out your savings in order to cross the United States, because you can't stay there. And this is because there's also a new rule. Title 42 has been lifted, but then there's a new rule that requires migrants to seek asylum in another country and to be denied asylum in another country before entering the U.S. So that makes it very difficult. It's a new rule that in a way is also a substitute for Title 42. It just has a different name. And in that sense, Mayorkas is right. It will be still very difficult for them to stay in the U.S., even if the information they get is a different one. But it is also important to add that the decision that a lot of migrants make is an emotional decision. They have been walking for months from Venezuela or from different countries to the United States, and they have been waiting for months or even years on the Mexican side to cross over. And it's more an emotional decision to say, okay, this is enough, the pandemic is over, we're going now over to the U.S.
All right, that is DW correspondent Carolina Chimoy on the ground for us in El Paso, Texas. Thanks so much, Carolina. Appreciate your reporting.